Hey, what's going on, everybody? Leigh Dickey here. Welcome back to Beats and Speaks. Now, I know I said that I'd be taking some time off to recover from a cold, and I'm still planning on doing that, but I wanted to hop on camera and get behind a microphone to tell you guys this story, tell you guys about this story. It was really creepy, sort of really strange, really weird, sort of shopping experience that I had at a Canadian Tire. And what a Canadian Tire is, for those of you that don't know, it's pretty much a big box store chain that carries all your bathroom needs, like your faucets, your mirrors, your vanities, your hardware needs, your lawn care needs, like your lawnmowers, your leaf blowers, and, you know, your snow stuff, like your shovels and things like that. Tires, obviously, it's in the name, Canadian Tire. And appliances, like your stoves, your ranges, and other things, like small stuff too, like blenders, like waffle makers if you're into that sort of thing, toasters, you know. So it's pretty much a big box store chain for everything within the house, other than, say, like bedroom stuff or anything sort of kitchen related, hardware related, you know, you guys name it, bathroom related. That store has it, and I mean, it carries other stuff, but it's pretty much like a Lowe's, a Rona, or Home Hardware, or Home Depot, just on a smaller scale. And it's actually, if you guys didn't know this, it's owned by the Mark's Work Warehouse company. Like, the company that owns Mark's Work owns Canadian Tire as well. But this is just a story of my latest experience in a Canadian Tire that was just really weird, really strange, kind of odd, really awkward. And I wanted to tell you guys the story while it was still fresh in my mind, just because, you know, I thought it was interesting and just really weird, and it kind of creeped me out, but I thought you guys would find it interesting. So let's just jump right into it. So yesterday, October 23rd, because today is October 24th, I mean, if I can still do simple math, like, yay, cool, great, elementary school for the win, thanks, guys. But yesterday, October 23rd, I went into Canadian Tire with the intention of buying a new blender. We needed one in this house because the one that we had that's actually older than me, we've actually had it for more than 30 years, finally bit the dust. It stopped working. It decided to not play fair anymore. It didn't want to play nice, and it just stopped working. I don't know, like something was rattling around in there apparently, and it was like, okay, cool. I guess it's just time to get a new blender, because it's, you know, the thing is more than 30 years old. It's probably closer to 35 years old, to be honest with you. And it was just time that we got a new blender, you know. So what had happened was, the other person that lives here, my mother, decided that we needed a new blender, and she went and got a Magic Bullet. And the thing is, the Magic Bullet's great for it only being $40, but for what we use blenders for, like soups, milkshakes, smoothies, and the amount of work that we put a blender through, I don't think the Magic Bullet was going to keep up with it anyway. So I decided that I was just going to go get an actual full-size blender, because for what we do with the soups, the smoothies, the milkshakes, and everything else, it would just make more practical sense if we just got a new full-size blender. And I wanted to surprise my mom. Granted, I guess I can call it an early Christmas gift or whatever, but I wanted to surprise her with just getting a new full-size blender, because I think it would just be easier on both her and myself when it comes to blending stuff and doing stuff in the kitchen. I just think it would be easier on everybody. Her and I included, you know, she and I, her and I included. Everybody involved, getting a full-size blender is a better idea. And that's exactly what I decided to do. Let's just go get a blender. I mean, we still have the Magic Bullet, and that's great, but that's more of a single-serve thing. And when it comes to just us and the amount of work we put blenders and appliances through, getting a new full-size blender, better idea. I decided to do that. So I go to this Canadian Tire, which is actually not that far from where I live, and I go through the kitchen section, which is where all the appliances are. I find the blender aisle, because they have a full blender aisle. And I'm going through, I'm looking at price tags and the design of the blenders, and it's just, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm in outer space. I'm riding the Orville right now, which is coincidentally one of my favorite new shows, The Orville. Check it out, starring Seth MacFarlane, created by Seth MacFarlane. Awesome show, okay? Check it out. Not that they need me to put it over, but you should check out The Orville. I was going through thinking, I'm completely out of whack, considering that I've never had to buy a blender before, because the one that basically stopped working is the only one that I know. It's the only one that we have. It's older than me, and it's probably pushing 35 years old, right? So I go to the blender aisle, I'm looking at prices, I'm looking at the different models. They have, obviously the Magic Bullet is there. They have another blender that's, it's a small box, it's a personal blender. They call it, there are a couple. One's called the My Blender or the My Blend, and the other one, there's another one that's by Hamilton Beach that's like a personal size blender. They're all just, for one, and if you're lucky, you can probably get a second serving out of that for another person, but I wouldn't, hold any merit to that at all. So I'm looking for a full-size blender that doesn't cost that much. And I found one. It was a Black & Decker 10-speed blender for like $50, right? And it was a full-size blender, $50, no problem. 10 speeds, not that, not that that would be a selling point. That's just in the name of the product. And I just decided that I was going to buy it, So I go buy, I pull it off the shelf. It's in this giant box, and I've got my walker with me. So I put it on the seat and start trying to steer my way out of the aisle and towards the checkout, towards the cashiers. This guy that works there, this employee, at least that's what I think he was. He was an employee or like some sort of manager type guy, because he didn't have the typical Canadian Tire uniform, which from what I could see, at least at this location, was a black polo shirt, black short sleeve polo shirt with the Canadian Tire logo, black pants, and black shoes. There's your typical Canadian Tire uniform, at least from what I saw yesterday. This guy, he had on a name tag, and he had a shirt on. It was like a gray dress shirt that had the Canadian Tire logo on it, like you'd probably see in the Canadian Tire commercials with the guy that's just trying to plug the product. It's one of those, right? And I guess every big box store chain has like a reward program or something, some sort of like credit card-ish reward type program. So this guy comes up to me while I'm looking at the blenders, right? And he says, "Oh, have you decided on which one you want to buy?" I'm like, "No, not yet, man. That's why I'm here. I'm just trying to decide, right? I'm gonna be nice about it. Like, if you're gonna make small talk, all right, I'll make small talk back. I don't care." And this guy he goes directly into a sales pitch. I don't know whether these guys get paid commission or like there's an extra sort of incentive or bonus if anybody signs up for the reward program in any way. I have no clue. But he went right into this reward program, credit card sort of thing, sales pitch. And I was like, right away, I'm like, nah, man, because I'm not a guy that's going to ever get into any sort of rewards programs, because it's just not my bag. I don't shop at any of the big box stores enough to where, like, I'm at that point where signing up for a reward program would be worth it. You know what I mean? So every time somebody comes up to me, whether it's in a Canadian Tire or any of the other big box stores, and they offer me the reward program thing, it's like, no, man, I'm good. Thank you very much. Which is pretty much what I did with this guy yesterday. I mean, it was, no, I'm good. Thank you, but it's okay. I'd rather, no, I'm okay. You know what I mean? I just want to buy this thing and get out. Because what are the odds that I'm going to go back into that Canadian Tire or go back anytime soon into that Canadian Tire and then have to, either exchange something or buy something else? It's just, I don't see it happening, and it hasn't happened in a long time, so I don't see the point in signing up for a reward program that I am barely going to use. And even then, he started with the fact that I think it was either like an Amex card or a MasterCard. It was a credit card of some sort. I can't remember what exactly. But I was just like, no, man, I'm good, thank you. And I left it at that. I gave him back the package and was going. I went around a little bit. Like I like to window shop if I go anywhere. Normally it's, all right, you get what you went in there for, which is what I normally do. You get what you go there for. You get it off the shelf. You go to the cashier. You buy it. It's a typical guy just trying to shop. Where it's like, you get in, you get your product, you go to the cashier, you pay for it, you go home. That's typically what I will do. But, I mean, I decided to take a couple minutes and just walk around either the kitchen section and the bathroom section. Because the one thing that I actually like, and this is, just me, I actually like to look at different shower heads. Like, I would like to get a rain shower head installed at one point, maybe someday. That's just another dream of mine, I guess, getting a rain shower head installed in one of the bathrooms that we have in this house. And I just decided to go around a bit, couple minutes, just looking at stuff. As much as I'm straightforward, I'm a straight ahead, straightforward kind of shopper. You go to the store, you get the product you need, you go to the cashier, pay for it, you get out and you go home. Most times I'm like that. I'd say 95 to 98% of the time, that's me. I'm just straight ahead, like, let's go to this store, get the product, take it off the shelf, take it to the cashier, pay for it, go home. But there's that 1 to 2% of the time where I will go around the store and look at stuff, not pull anything else off the shelf, just I want to look at stuff. And a Canadian Tire it's almost like a guy's paradise, or anybody who's into like power tools and bathroom fixtures and lawn stuff, snow shovels, tires, kitchen appliances. If you're into that sort of stuff, Canadian Tire is like paradise for you. And I felt at home, at least until I got into the John Deere stuff, and I was just like, nope, okay, we're going back to the kitchen stuff, right? But with this guy that tried to get me on that reward program, I wasn't having it, and I just said, no, thank you. You know what I mean? The problem, and the thing that made it really creepy for me, was every aisle I went into, after I took the blender off the shelf and told him very nicely that I didn't want to join the reward program, was that every aisle I was in, he happened to be there. You know what I mean? Like, I turned the corner, there he was. And then I turned the corner into another aisle, and there he was. It almost looked like he was following me and, in a sense, stalking me in his own store. I don't want to use that word. I don't want to just throw that word out there, because, I mean, I understand that maybe it's coincidental. However, when you're in every aisle that a customer's in, coincidentally, that's a little much for me to believe. It's a bit of a stretch, right? And this guy, in every aisle that I was in, he just happened to be there. And, like, he'd always sort of make eye contact with me, right? And it just made me feel really uneasy. And I just thought, what is this guy's deal? You know what I mean? And occasionally, like, he'd flash me a smile for some reason. And I got really weirded out. I got really weirded out, really uncomfortable. I was just like, all right, you know what? I got to pay for this blender and just go home because I'm really not having it today. I'm really uncomfortable. And this guy's not helping things because it was just like, I said no to your reward program. Now, can I just go pay for this blender and go home, please? But, and I went around looking for a couple minutes, but it just seemed in every aisle that I was in, there he was. And he just sort of would look up and stare at me for, 30 seconds or whatever, for a little bit. And it just threw me completely off. I mean, normally, I was always taught that if somebody stares, then you gotta have something that they like. They gotta be into you something, but I'm like, nah, that can't be it. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm a guy that has been disabled his entire life and had to use a walker his entire life. So when people stare, I don't know whether it's the fact that they like what they see, or, maybe it's a sign that I'm taking care of myself as best I can, I don't know. Or it's just the fact that they're weirded out by the fact that I have to use a walker to walk, right? And to get around my own city. I have no idea. That's the battle that I fight on a daily basis within myself. And this guy just took it to a whole new level yesterday, where he would just sort of, he'd pop up in every aisle. Like, it's the second I would turn the corner, there he would be. Into the next aisle. There he was, and he would just look at me. And occasionally flash me a smile. And it creeped me out. Like, it made me feel really uneasy. Like, there is something going on with this guy that I just don't like and I don't trust. When your flags go up, like, you know what I mean? That red flag, when it goes up, your internal mechanism for your red flag it goes up and your security alarms go off, and I'm just like, there is something not right about this guy. So, to basically wrap this whole story around, once I felt really uneasy with the fact that this guy was basically following me into every aisle, or at least that's the way it felt, and that's the way it looked, to me anyway, I got to the cashier as quickly as I could, and paid for the blender, brought it home. My mom was super happy because we wouldn't have to basically stress out the magic bullet, and a full-size blender is something that she can use, and life is good. Basically, everybody's happy. We have a new full-size blender now, and we can put that to its paces. I'm hoping it'll probably last another 30-plus years like the other one did. But, with the way things are built in 2017, I don't know. I might be wrong. I probably am wrong. But one can dream, right? Maybe this blender will outlast me and run another 30, 40 years. Who knows? I have no clue. I'm hoping, but maybe I'm just chasing a pipe dream in that regard. But that's the story of going to a Canadian Tire to buy a new blender for this house because we needed one, because the original one that we had decided after 30-plus years it wasn't going to play nice and wasn't going to play fair and stopped working. So that's what happened. That's the story of this really weird, really creepy experience at a Canadian Tire where I went to buy a blender yesterday, October 23rd, since today is October 24th. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So please comment, like, share, and subscribe. You can find the Beats and Speaks podcast on iTunes and Apple Podcasts, my official website, LeighTDickey.com. Tune in, Stitcher Radio, and everywhere else podcasts are available. You can find Leigh Dickey style stuff also on the Beats and Speaks channel. Also, just go to my official website, LeighTDickey.com, to get all your info on me. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description. Follow all those links in the description. You can also buy the equipment that I use by clicking the Amazon affiliate links in the description below. Thank you all again for subscribing, watching, liking, sharing, and commenting. I really, really appreciate it. But that was the story of Leigh going to buy a blender at a Canadian Tire and having an experience that was really creepy, really weird, really odd, and really awkward. That happened yesterday. But who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. That's just the story that I wanted to share with you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing. But until next time, this is Leigh Dickey for the Beats and Speaks YouTube channel, LeighTDickey.com, Leigh Dickey Style, and the Beats and Speaks podcast, signing off. All right, I'm out of here. We'll talk later. Peace.